Welcome everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the incredible and often surprising world of rare coins, where today we're going to explore in extraordinary detail the unbelievable story behind the 1969 D1 penny USA coin that, despite its humble face value of just 1 cent, has in certain rare cases been appraised and valued at an astounding $780,000 due to a combination of fascinating minting errors, production anomalies, and incredibly scarce circumstances that have elevated it from everyday change to a collector's dream worth nearly 800,000 times more than what's printed on its surface. And as we unravel this story together, you'll discover how this small piece of copper can hold such immense value in the numismatic market, why certain coins become the stuff of legend among collectors, and the exact possibilities that make this particular penny one of the most coveted treasures in American coinage history. So first, let's set the stage by understanding what the 1969 D penny actually is. Minted in the Denver Mint as indicated by the D mint mark, this coin belongs to the Lincoln Cent series, featuring the bust of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, design originally created by Victor David Brenner and in use since 1909. But in the year 1969 the Denver Mint was producing billions of pennies as part of the regular circulation demand, most of which were standard copper coins weighing 3.11 grams composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, with a smooth edge and a diameter of 19.05 millimeters. Yet among the vast numbers minted, a minuscule handful emerged with extraordinary features or mistakes that transformed them into rare artifacts capable of commanding 6- and even 7-figure prices at auction. Now you might wonder how such an ordinary object can become so valuable, and the answer lies in the fascinating intersection of rarity, demand, historical context, and error-based uniqueness, because in the coin collecting world, a minting error is not merely a flaw but rather a fingerprint of history, a one-of-a-kind quirk that makes a coin distinct from billions of others. And in the case of the 1969 D penny, certain anomalies occurred that are so rare that when verified by expert graders they cause collectors to compete fiercely for ownership, driving the price to astronomical heights. One of the primary categories of error that could make a 1969 D penny worth $780,000 involves doubled dies, where the design elements, such as the date, lettering, or image, appear to be stamped twice, slightly offset, creating a ghosted or shadowed effect visible to the naked eye. Though many double dies are relatively minor and common, there are extreme cases where the doubling is dramatic and appears across multiple parts of the coin, making it a numismatic sensation. And while the more famous double die from 1969 comes from the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark, the possibility of a Denver minted penny showing similar major doubling would make it practically unique, perhaps even unique enough to command such an immense valuation. Another possible error type is an off-center strike, where the blank planchette, the flat metal disc used to make a coin, was not properly aligned in the coining press, so the design is only partially stamped, leaving a crescent-shaped blank space on the coin's surface. In severe cases the date and mint mark remain visible despite a large portion of the design missing, and such dramatic off-center errors can be extremely desirable, especially when combined with other error types in a single specimen. Then there are wrong planchette errors, where a coin is mistakenly struck on a blank intended for a different denomination. For example, if a 1969 D penny were struck on a dime planchette, it would be smaller, lighter, and silver-colored, a shocking deviation from normal that would instantly catch a collector's eye. And even more exotic are double denomination errors, where a coin is struck once as one denomination and then accidentally struck again as another, resulting in overlapping designs from two different coins on one piece of metal. These are among the rarest and most valuable errors in existence. But mint mark anomalies also play a huge role, because the mint mark is the tiny letter indicating where a coin was made, and in 1969 the Denver Mint used hand-punched mint marks, meaning that D was manually punched into the working die, and this process could result in misplaced mint marks, repunched mint marks where the letter was punched more than once in slightly different locations, or even inverted mint marks where the punch was oriented incorrectly, all of which can create a standout rarity. Now imagine a scenario where a 1969 D penny has a dramatic double die obverse combined with a repunched mint mark, and perhaps struck slightly off-center while retaining sharp details and pristine condition, graded by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC at an MS.67. Red or better. This combination of factors could easily push its value toward the $780,000 mark, because collectors would recognize it as a once-in-a-lifetime find. But condition alone can make a huge difference too, since most pennies from this era have been in circulation for decades, showing heavy wear, scratches, and discoloration. While a coin that has somehow survived in near-perfect mint state with full original luster and no contact marks is exponentially more desirable, scarcity drives demand and demand drives price, and when you have a coin that is both extremely scarce in terms of error type and in top condition, you have the perfect storm for record-breaking auction results. Now it's important to note that stories of massive values often start with a buzz in the collecting community, discovery that stirs excitement and prompts others to check their own change, and in some cases values are also influenced by media coverage, famous auctions, or high-profile collectors seeking to complete specialized sets. So when one of these rare 1969-era pennies appears at auction and two or more determined bidders decide they must have it, the price can skyrocket far beyond traditional catalog estimates, sometimes setting new records that ripple through the entire hobby. And part of the charm of coin collecting is that treasures like this can still be found unexpectedly, perhaps in an old jar of pennies sitting forgotten in a relative's attic, or hidden within a bank roll of coins purchased for face value, which is why even seasoned collectors still search every coin they encounter, and why stories like the $780,000 penny inspire newcomers to start looking more closely at their own change. The value isn't just in the metal content but in the story, the rarity, and the intense desire of collectors to own something truly exceptional. And the 1969 penny with the right combination of errors represents a perfect storm of collectability, blending historical significance with tangible scarcity, each one a miniature time capsule from the height of the space race and cultural change in America, each with its own journey from the Denver mint presses to wherever it may have traveled over half a century. And while most 1969 pennies will never be worth more than a cent, the rare few that carry these dramatic mistakes will forever stand apart as legendary examples of how a simple coin can capture the imagination and wallet of the collecting world, serving as a reminder that in numismatics, the smallest details can have the biggest impact, and that's why the hunt never ends, because you never know when a small, copper coin with a faint, D, mint mark might turn out to be a jackpot worth nearly $1 million, waiting patiently in the palm of your hand for its story to be told and its value to be realized. Where we uncover the fascinating story behind a seemingly ordinary 1992 one-penny USA coin that, against all odds, is worth a staggering $786,000, yes, you heard that right. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for a coin that most people wouldn't think twice about spending or tossing into a jar. And in this journey, we're going to explore why this particular penny is so extraordinarily valuable, the intricate details about its errors, the rare minting mistakes, the minuscule yet highly significant mint mark variations, and all the possibilities and conditions that combine to make it one of the most sought after and valuable modern coins in American numismatic history. So buckle in, because what you're about to learn will change the way you look at pocket change forever. And the story begins in 1992 when the United States Mint was still producing pennies featuring the Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse, a design that had been in place since 1959, but this year was not an ordinary production run, because certain coins from 1992 carry a feature that sets them apart from the millions of other pennies produced that year, an extremely rare variety known as the 1992 close AM penny, which refers to the tiny gap, or rather the lack thereof, between the letters A and M in the word America on the reverse of the coin. And to the untrained eye this may seem like an insignificant detail, but for coin collectors and specialists, it's a game-changing diagnostic feature, because in normal 1992 pennies, especially those struck for circulation at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, the A and M are spaced farther apart, while the close AM variety shows them nearly touching, a design intended for proof coins but somehow used on a very small number of business strike coins due to a die mix-up. And here's where things get even more intriguing. These die mix-ups occur when a proof reverse die, intended for special collector coins, is accidentally paired with a regular obverse die in the striking of circulation coins, creating an unintended hybrid that is not supposed to exist. And because such errors are almost always caught quickly in modern minting, very few examples make it out into circulation, which is why surviving specimens command astronomical prices when discovered. But that's not the only factor at play in determining the nearly $786,000 value of a pristine 1992 penny. Condition is king in the coin collecting world, and coins graded at the top of the scale, like mint state 67 or higher, are phenomenally rare, particularly for circulation strikes from the early 1990s, and when you combine a top-grade condition with the close AM variety, the scarcity skyrockets, and collectors with deep pockets are willing to pay whatever it takes to secure one for their collection. but let's not overlook the role of the mint mark in this story. Because while the 1992 close AM variety is already rare, examples from the Denver Mint bearing the D mint mark are considered even rarer than those from Philadelphia, possibly due to lower production numbers or quicker die replacement after the error was detected, and this creates an additional layer of desirability among collectors who aim to complete sets by mint location. And beyond the close AM, there are other minor but interesting varieties and errors from 1992 that can add value, such as off-center strikes where part of the design is missing due to misalignment of the planchette during striking, double dies where elements of the design appear double due to hubbing errors, clip planches where a small crescent-shaped piece of the coin is missing due to an error in blank production, and even striking on the wrong planchette where, for example, a penny is mistakenly struck on a dime planchette creating a thinner, silver-colored coin that defies normal expectations, and all of these errors, while individually uncommon, can significantly enhance a coin's desirability and price when combined with the close AM rarity. But to truly appreciate why collectors go wild for coins like this, you have to understand the psychology of the numismatic market. People are drawn to tangible history, to holding a piece of metal that carries a story of human error, rarity, and discovery, and with modern technology allowing for instant sharing of finds online, anytime a rare variety like the 1992 close AM surfaces, it generates buzz across forums, auction houses, and social media, driving prices higher. And this buzz isn't just hype, it's backed by historical auction records where top-grade examples have fetched six-figure sums, sometimes with aggressive bidding wars that push prices into the realm of luxury goods. And when one such coin in pristine condition hits the market with the right provenance, $786,000 isn't an arbitrary number, it's the logical result of rarity, demand, and collector competition colliding. And here's the kicker, these coins are still out there, hiding in change jars, old rolls from the bank, or tucked away in collections that haven't been examined closely in decades, which means that for every person who learns about this, there's a chance, however small, that they might stumble across one in the wild. And this possibility fuels a treasure hunt mentality in the coin collecting community, where enthusiasts examine pennies under magnification, searching for that telltale near touching A and M on the reverse, checking the date and mint mark on the obverse, and then holding their breath as they consider the potential life-changing windfall they might be looking at. And while the odds are slim, the payoff is so massive that the search becomes addictive, and in many ways, that's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just about the metal or the face value, but about the stories and surprises hidden in plain sight, the idea that history and fortune can hide in your pocket change. And the 1992 penny worth $786,000 is a perfect example of this. A coin born of a small but significant minting mishap that transformed it from everyday currency into a legendary collectible. So the next time you come across a 1992 penny, don't just toss it aside, look closely, because if you happen to find that elusive close AM with perfect surfaces and maybe even a rare mint mark, you might just be holding a piece of American numismatic history that could change your life forever. Where today we unravel the incredible story of the 2012 1 penny USA coin, a humble copper-plated zinc piece that in normal circumstances would be worth just a single cent but in rare and extraordinary cases can fetch a staggering $571,000 in the collector's market due to astonishing errors, mint mistakes, and unique anomalies that turn this ordinary coin into an extraordinary treasure. And as we dive into this topic, you will be amazed at how a coin most people overlook in their pocket change could hold enough value to buy a house, luxury cars, or even secure a small fortune for future generations. So let's explore how such astronomical value becomes possible, starting from the minting process itself, because the United States Mint uses high-speed machinery and precision dies to produce billions of pennies each year. But even with advanced technology, mistakes happen, and when they do in ways that are unusual enough, they can become extremely valuable to collectors worldwide. For example, one of the primary reasons a 2012 penny could command such a price is due to dramatic mint errors such as double dies where the design elements like the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile appear double due to a misalignment during the hubbing process. These double dies can be clear and dramatic, with letters looking shadowed or overlapped, making them immediately appealing to collectors who seek bold, visible differences from normal coins. Then there are off-center strikes where the coin's design is struck significantly away from center, sometimes by 50% or more, leaving part of the blank planchette visible, which creates a dramatic visual difference. Coins with extreme off-center strikes, especially if the date is still visible, are extremely rare and can skyrocket in value. Another error that can occur is the broad strike, where the collar that holds the coin in place during striking malfunctions, causing the coin to expand beyond normal size without a reeded edge, giving it a distinctive, oversized look and a unique appeal. Equally fascinating are wrong planchet errors, where the penny is mistakenly struck on a metal blank meant for a different denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin, resulting in wrong weight, size, and metal composition, which can make the coin both visually and scientifically intriguing. In some rare 2012 penny cases, the coin might be struck on a copper planchet from pre-1982 compositions instead of the standard copper-plated zinc, giving it an unusual weight, around 3.11 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams. These wrong planchet errors can occur when leftover blanks from previous years are mistakenly fed into the press. Collectors pay huge sums for such mistakes, especially when verified by professional grading services. Die caps are another form of error, where a coin sticks to the die and continues striking subsequent blanks, creating dramatic concave or distorted designs, and these can fetch tens of thousands depending on severity and visibility of the design elements. Another highly sought-after error is the mule error, where a coin is struck with mismatched obverse and reverse dies meant for different coins, which is almost impossible under normal quality control, making any such coin instantly legendary in numismatic circles. Sometimes multiple errors occur on a single coin, such as a double die combined with an off-center strike or a broad strike combined with a clipped planchet, and these multiple error coins are so rare they become headline-worthy when discovered. Speaking of clipped planchets, this error occurs when the metal strip from which blanks are cut overlaps during the punching process, resulting in coins with curved or straight clips missing from the edge. These are visually striking, and when combined with a clear date and minimal wear can be worth thousands. In the case of the 2012 penny, certain die varieties also add immense value, such as repunched mint marks, where the small d for Denver or p for Philadelphia appears doubled or tripled due to manual re-engraving in earlier minting processes, while modern coins are less likely to have repunched marks due to digital engraving. Transitional years or special dies can still cause interesting anomalies. Striking pressure errors, where the design is weak or overly strong, can also create valuable varieties, especially if the cause is linked to misaligned dies or incorrect metal hardness. There are also instances of missing design elements due to grease-filled dies, where debris or grease clogs part of the die and prevents certain letters, numbers, or design details from transferring to the coin, leaving blank spots. These are known as struck-through grease errors and can range from minor to dramatic depending on how much of the design is missing. Now you might be wondering why collectors pay such astronomical amounts for these mistakes, and the answer lies in the combination of rarity, demand, and historical intrigue, because in the world of numismatics, the fewer examples of an error that exist, the more valuable they become. And when such an error occurs in a modern coin like the 2012 penny, which had billions of normal versions produced, it creates a paradox where the rare error stands out dramatically against the backdrop of mass uniformity. Certified grading from professional services like PCGS or NGC can make a huge difference in value, because a coin authenticated and graded as genuine with a high mint state condition, such as MS67 or MS68, becomes exponentially more desirable. Uncirculated coins with pristine surfaces, sharp details, and full mint luster command far more than circulated examples, even with the same error. Provenance also plays a role, as coins with a documented history of discovery, auction results, or features in numismatic publications gain prestige and collector interest. There's also the psychological factor, where collectors are driven not only by the intrinsic rarity but also by the thrill of owning something few others in the world have. This exclusivity fuels bidding wars at auctions, where wealthy collectors and investors compete, driving prices into the hundreds of thousands or even beyond $500,000, as in the case of certain extraordinary 2012 pennies. Beyond errors, there are also low mintage varieties or experimental planchets that sometimes slip into circulation by accident. For example, the mint occasionally tests new metals or compositions, and if a test blank accidentally gets struck with a regular design and released, it becomes a numismatic legend. While the 2012 penny doesn't have a known official variety like this on record, it's entirely possible that experimental or transitional errors exist in extremely small numbers and have yet to be fully documented. The story of such coins is often enhanced by the way they are found, as many discoveries happen in everyday transactions, coin rolls from banks, or even in change received from a store. Ordinary people have stumbled upon life-changing finds simply by paying attention to the details on their coins. This is why seasoned collectors constantly emphasize checking your change carefully, because lightning can strike when you least expect it. If you were to find a 2012 penny with one of these dramatic errors in exceptional condition, the first step would be to handle it carefully by the edges to avoid adding fingerprints or damage, then consult with a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a grading service for authentication. Once verified, its value would depend on the exact type of error, its rarity, condition, and market demand at the time. Given the right combination, these factors could realistically push the value into the hundreds of thousands range up to the incredible $571,000 figure we're discussing today. High-profile auctions often feature such coins, attracting attention from around the globe and being reported in numismatic news. These events not only increase awareness, but also raise market values as more collectors become aware of the possibility of rare errors in modern coinage. The fascinating thing is that while older coins like early Lincoln wheat cents or rare 19th century issues are expected to have value, modern coins like the 2012 penny show that treasure can still be hiding in plain sight. The allure of potentially owning a piece of minting history combined with the thrill of the hunt keeps collectors engaged year after year. So next time you hold a penny in your hand, don't just see 1 cent. See the possibility of history, rarity, and value beyond imagination, because your pocket change could be hiding one of the most remarkable numismatic treasures of the modern era, and the 2012 penny with extraordinary errors is living proof of that.